What's up guys, it's your boy Rabner, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on every single winter and spring 2021 LEGO set. So let's get the first set on our list is the police station in 2021, which is, as you can see, a modular building. This set has about, well, as you can see on the box, 2,000 pieces. So, and I think it looks pretty cool. It has three major sections, so there's the centre part, as you can see here, and there are two side parts, with a purple one and a sort of greeny one. So, on the ground floor, we have sort of like a newsstand, a donut shop, and the police station. And as you can see, the images are a bit blurry, I'm very sorry about that. On the next floor, I don't think there's really much in there, but there are some nice stairs, and obviously they are split off from the purple and green parts. And then on the third floor, as you can see, there's not really much there, but there is a cool sign that advertises some soap, I think. So this contains 5 minifigures, 3 police officers, 1 donut shop lady, and 1 criminal, I assume. Not very many for the price, but still looks pretty cool. As you can see, it connects to the other set quite well. So yeah, this set costs about 170 English pounds, probably like $200. So yeah, a pretty good set. And now let's go on to the just normal creators. The first one of that is a Tuk Tuk, a bit blurry, but generally seems to have a pretty nice build with some pretty cool colours. I like the 3 wheels and the chairs. Next we have a taxi, which is very small but still looks pretty decent. So yeah. Next we have a safari treehouse. This has some very nice animals in it, and the general treehouse looks very cool. Next we have a motorbike, which also looks pretty cool. I like the blue colours, and the part of the front, the windshield also looks pretty nice. Next we have a sort of space miner. As you can see, it's got 3 different builds, which I can't exactly see, but it looks pretty cool and kind of reminds me of space themes. Now we have a lion. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. It's got plenty of nice colours on it, and even has a little vulture. Now we have a German Shepherd. This also looks pretty cool. I assume that's like some sort of dog biscuit. So yeah. Now we have the person watching this video, aka a clown. As you can see, it looks pretty cool with a nice balloon and quite cool hair pieces. Now we have like a car transporter, very small cars, obviously not minifigure scale, but I think it looks pretty cool and definitely has a very nice look about it. Next we have an actual car, also looking pretty cool. Quite like the windshield and how it's just a black brick. Really has quite a cool aesthetic to it and looks very shapely for such a small build. Now we have a beach house, which looks very nice. I really like it. A nice dolphin build and some pretty good minifigures. And finally, for the Creator Wave, we have a drone, which also looks pretty cool. And it also has a cool minifigure. So now let's go on to I'll be covering the winter and spring sets for this one. So the little gimmick packs in this one are sort of like old legacy fights. So this is Kai versus a skeleton, Jay versus a serpentine, and the next one is Cole versus a ghost person, and Zane versus a Nindroid. I really like the little builds for these sets, and they have quite a few of those nice pieces as like the blades and stuff, and I think they look pretty nice and have some quite nice little mini builds and some pretty good minifigures. The winter wave for this is pretty much all legacy, I'm pretty sure. So the first one is the Tournament of the Elements. This one is from the Serpent Wave, where they had like the fake ones, and it has a lot of good minifigures and a pretty nice build. This is from the same Serpent Wave, and it's Jay's Electromech. It looks way worse than the actual one, the one from a while ago, but it's still pretty cool. The Overlord Dragon is not an actual older set. However, it's sort of like a remake of something from a TV show and looks pretty cool. Next we have Zane's Titan Mech, which looks very similar to Lloyd's Titan Mech, I'm pretty sure, and looks pretty cool. It's also got a little like mini polybag version of it, as you can see here. So that looks pretty cool. Next we have Kai's charger thingamajig. This one looks pretty good. However, yeah, I mean, all of the sets also contain these golden minifigures. This is Cole's one. I'll probably buy this and do a review because I have the older version of this set and I'll probably compare them. So that looks pretty cool. Next we have the actual new one. So this is Lloyd's Jungle Chopper, and as you can see it looks very cool with the cool new minifigures and Nia and Lloyd. Next we have Lloyd's Dragon. As you can see, he very much likes having sets in this wave, and yeah, this one also looks pretty shapely and cool. The next one is a catamaran boat battle. As you can see, it's got two boats which both look very cool. Next we have a sort of like poly bag for Lloyd. He really likes sets in this one, and it looks pretty good for such a small set. The final set, which I'm going to be covering today for Ninjago, is the village. You can't really see what's going on here, but it looks pretty cool with all the rocks and the greenery. Now let's go on to Okay guys, as you can see, we're now in the city, so this is a nice little truck getting this car going along. Looks pretty cool, nice shape, nice colours. Next we have a sort of like buggy transporter. The buggy has some very interesting lights and quite good shape, and the truck also has some pretty nice wheels and quite a nice little trailer. Next we have a sort of like plane transporter for racers. Looks pretty cool. The front of the truck is quite flat, but the plane looks really cool. Next is just a simple car, looks very nice, however quite simple and just a bit small, really, not much to it, but the minifigure is pretty decent. Next we have a camper van, which also looks pretty cool, quite nice colours and shape, and yeah, I quite like it, especially with a baby. Next we have a sort of lifeguard set, looks pretty nice, especially with the shark, and the little buggy is quite cute and yeah, pretty nice. Next you have like a roadwork vehicle. This looks pretty decent, not really much to it, but I quite like the inclusion of the like bricks which you can carry around. Next is a tractor. I really like the wheels and the colours on this. Definitely I would like to see more sets in this sort of theme with the like agriculture and all of that. Now I have a police helicopter, which also looks pretty cool. Obviously it's very simple, not much to it, but I quite like the little Crook's little boat. It's got quite a large boat, very shapely, quite like the Crook's little submarine, pretty cool. And yeah, I think this is pretty decent. Next you have a transport police thing. Obviously it's very like monster truckish, and it's got a lot of like minifigures and like quite a few different vehicles. Next we have the fire thing. This is very simple and quite interesting really. Next we have this sort of little fire truck, definitely a 4+ set. Very interested in those like fire pieces though, definitely looks pretty cool. Next we have a helicopter, again with the shooty like things, obviously to knock over the fire. Looks pretty cool, but the helicopter isn't very original. Next we have a sort of like command center. I think this is a very interesting looking fire truck and not something I remember seeing before. Yeah, pretty cool. Next we have a skate park, very original, not seen before. I quite like the palm tree and the guy in the wheelchair doing a flip. I'm not really sure if you can do that, but still pretty cool. Next we have a modern home. Definitely would have preferred a more like sort of like older one, but still pretty cool. Shame the most it's taken up by a garage. Next we have like a shopping area. Should have been more shops, less vehicles, but still looks pretty cool. However, the price will be bumped up by the road plates. Next we have a city centre, looks pretty cool. Quite like the pizza place and how it contains a garage, which I quite like. And next of course we have the road plates. I think these are pretty cool, but definitely bump up the price of some of these sets a bit too much. So yeah, now let's go into our next one. Next we have the Minecraft sets. Here we have just a little simple Never fight, not much to it. I quite like the purple bow though, kind of looks enchanted. Next we have like a warp forest, looks pretty cool, definitely new. I like the gold armour and the hoglin looks very goofy. Next we have sort of like a coral place. The pufferfish looks absolutely ridiculous and I quite like the different helmets and the coral looks pretty decent. Next we have the adventure one, kind of looks like one of those first Lego sets. It's even got a moo bloom in it and I think it looks pretty decent. Next we have this pig house. This is the last one and I think it's very original and pretty interesting. Now let's go on to the next thing, which is next we have Technic. So the first one is a Wrangler. It looks pretty cool. I don't know much about cars, so I can't say how accurate it is, but it looks very interesting, especially with the tyre on the back. Now we have a racing plane, very small, very simple, however it's quite nice. That has a lot of stickers in it, but I quite like the colours in general. Next we have a monster truck. This looks pretty cool, especially with all the spikes and the quite large wheels. The next one is also a monster truck, and also looks pretty cool with the colours and all. I quite like the flag at the back and the roof of it looks pretty cool, and the colour of course. Next we have a McLaren, also looks pretty cool, nice colours, pretty decent shape, I quite like it. Next we have sort of like a loader, very simple again, but I can imagine you can lift up things from the back with the function, looks pretty cool as well, but very simple. Next we have a hovercraft, which also looks pretty cool. Not very good picture, however it looks like you can sort of rearrange the bits at the back. Next we have a very small helicopter, very simple, not much to it, but I think it looks pretty nice and I really like the colours. Next we have a Ferrari. It looks pretty good. I think they've made a lot of these, however this one's quite a nice one. I like how it's got all the stickers on the sides like it's racing. Next we have quite a large excavator. I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, I think it looks pretty decent to be honest. Yeah, next we have a sort of like buggy. Also looks pretty cool. I haven't seen those wheel pieces before and they look pretty good, and I also quite like the colours. Now onto now we have Lego Friends and Dots. I don't know much about having friends or dots, however these sets are pretty cool. This one looks pretty cool. I don't really know who this character is, but I quite like the pug inside. This one is sort of like flamingo themed it seems, and looks quite nice with all the different like plants and stuff inside it. I quite like that pink frog piece. Next we have sort of like a some sort of dog probably. I quite like the printing on the inside and the painted face. Next we have what looks like a pig. I also think this looks pretty nice. Looks like there's some like nice flowers in it and looks pretty cool. Next we have sort of like a rabbit one, it looks like. Nice little house and an autumn sort of looking tree with all the red and well, yellow leaves. Next we have this. I quite like the customizable part of the dots thing, and it looks pretty cool with the colours and all. This one also looks pretty decent. Yeah, so I guess it's just where you keep jewellery or something. Obviously I don't have any of that, so yeah. Next we have some like bracelets. Obviously this is just the customizable parts. I quite like the printed 1x1s. They look pretty cool. And this one is just a slightly different one. I think this one is like moulded 1x1s with the gems, and that's very interesting and very cool. Next we have like some cupcakes made out of the dots parts. This is really nice. I assume those cupcake pieces existed before, but they look very cool. This is just like the packs you can buy, so as you can see they are definitely dual molded 1x1s, which is very cool, with the stars and the like gems. This is just like a Vets thing. I swear I've seen this before, but obviously the smaller sets aren't really very original. Next we have an electric car. This is obviously quite a nice set. They've got a nice car itself, looks pretty cool, and the wind turbine also looks pretty nice. This is like a family home. This looks very nice. I quite like the colours, and the scale is very nice. There's also like a mini doll, which is just something I don't want to know. This is sort of like an organic cafe. The colours obviously are very nice. And yeah, another mini doll and an older man. Here we have like a movie theatre. This also looks very cool, and I quite like the colours and all of that. Apparently there's a phone function to this as well. This is a very blurry picture of a park. Looks pretty cool though. Would quite like the trees. Next we have like a large mall set. This looks very large, very cool. The colours are pretty nice, and yeah, slides and stairs. Next we have like a veterinary place, it looks like, with a horse. Quite like the horse, and the actual building looks pretty nice as well. Next we just have some dot pens, which you can obviously put the dots parts onto it. A notebook, which you can also put them on, which I think is pretty nice and pretty original. More like pens, it looks like. Then we have a diary, which also looks pretty cool. You can obviously lock it, which you shouldn't really. A notebook with the thing. And yeah, then we just have a pencil case. And now let's get on to our next theme. Next we have Star Wars. There are definitely more sets to be revealed. I might do an update video for that. This is just like a poly bag of Luke, which looks pretty nice, and he's got a pretty simple accessory. Next we have a Microfighter Millennium Falcon. Looks pretty cool, looks pretty similar to the other ones, but still pretty nice. Next we have a set from the Mandalorian, I believe. So this is quite an interesting like backdrop, and some pretty cool vehicles with Baby Yoda as well. Looking pretty nice and pretty interesting. Next we have a TIE Fighter, I believe this is called. I don't know much about Star Wars, but it looks very nice, and I quite like the lower price on it. This is a similar lower price and a pretty cool looking build. It's got some new pieces for like the engines, so yeah, it looks pretty cool. Now on to the next one. Next we have the LEGO Minifigure Wave coming out this year. So here's the bag. It only has 12 minifigures unfortunately, but they're all pretty good. Here's an alien, a very nice head mould, looks pretty cool. Here's a kid in an aeroplane costume, very nice aeroplane, very nice like hat. Here's a centaur, very interesting how they used that in a minifigure set. Next we have sort of like a dancer, they look pretty cool, and very nice headset. Next we have like a beekeeper, very interesting, quite nice print on that, 2x2. Here's a ladybug, not much about her really. Next we have a pug, which looks pretty cool. I quite like the blue bone, and the looks pretty accurate. Here's a shipwrecked man, obviously nice crab. Violin kid, I don't know if I've had a violin before, probably, but I quite like the use of a wand. The surfer has a dolphin and a surfboard, looking very cool. Ladybird again apparently, quite nice I guess. An Aztec warrior of some sort, looks pretty cool, quite original. And here's the bag again, which looks pretty good. So next we have Mario. I quite like this theme, but it is very expensive. So as you can see, this is like a mix and match parts bag, pretty cool, quite a nice like figure in the bottom left, looks pretty cool I think. Next we have like a Chomper set. I don't know how this would work, I guess you have to jump on the head of that orange thing, but it looks pretty cool, and I quite like the purple pieces. Next we have like another like piranha plant thing, looks pretty cool. I guess you just have to avoid them when they like spin at you. And finally, for the actual sets, we have a swamp. I guess the caterpillar tries to kill you. and it all looks pretty nice. Then we have some more like additional things on the bags. So here's a Tanuki outfit, looks pretty cool, and a penguin one, which also looks pretty nice. I don't really know what they do, but they look pretty cool. We also have some character bags. So there are plenty of characters, like the bone creature, like a Cheep, which also looks pretty cool. We have a crab. I guess it's from like one of those island things. We have a Thu, which I think looks pretty interesting. Pretty impressed. We have a fly guy, so it just flies around. That's pretty cool. Parachute, one of these. I guess this can like drop on your Mario person. One of these looks like it will just like knock you out, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. This also looks pretty cool, kind of like a black thing, I don't know. Here we have like a mushroom, a poisonous one, which also looks pretty nice. A rock, which I guess could just hit you off and looks pretty sharp. And finally, here's the bag again. So let's get into. Here we have the Marvel sets. So first of all, we have Captain America. He's got quite a cool mech, which I quite like. Probably one of the best ones with the shield and stuff. Next we have the Thor mech, I believe. Yep. So he's got a pretty cool hammer, and I quite like how the cape sort of attaches to his arms to make it look like it's around him. Next we have Miles Morales. So as you can see, it's pretty cool. I quite like the colours on this guy, with the sort of like blue see-through webs. Here we have Iron Man versus Thanos, which looks very interesting. Not entirely sure what's going on, but it looks pretty cool. Next we have a Sandman thing. I quite like Sandman's like leg piece. That was first in the Nexo Knights, I believe, and it looks pretty decent. With the buggy, looks pretty cool as well. Here's Ghost Rider's truck or car, looks pretty cool. It's like Carnage and all the fire pieces that are involved in this set. Next we have a monster truck, which looks pretty strange, but the leg piece for the Mysterio is pretty cool, and Dr. Octopus looks nice as well. Next we have a spider lair. I quite like this. It's pretty original. Very blurry, but you can just make out there are quite a few Spider-Man suits. Next, of course, we have now we have the 4 revealed Harry Potter sets. Again, there are definitely more of these. First we have the Transfiguration Classroom, which looks pretty nice. All of these sets fold into like books, which I think is pretty cool and original. Next we have the Potions Classroom. The minifigures in this are pretty nice, and the prints or probably stickers on the walls are also pretty decent. Next we have the Herbology Classroom. As you can see, it's got some pretty cool costumes for the characters, and also some pretty nice vegetables if you want those. Finally, we have the Charms Classroom. Again, pretty good minifigures, and I quite like it. Now let's get on to our final section, which is okay, so now we've got the Chinese / Monkey Kid sets, which I just grouped together because there aren't enough Monkey Kid sets, so I assume there are going to be more. Here we have the Chinese New Year Gardens. Looks very nice. I very much like the bamboo and the other shapes in it. Here we have the Legend of Nyan, I believe. A pretty cool like dragon creature, and the actual backdrop looks pretty nice, and a lot of good minifigures. Here's the only Monkey Kid set, which looks decent, however it's very big and I assume to be very overpriced. So that's it, guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll probably make updates for the sets that haven't been revealed yet. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Thank you and bye.